Welcome back to the Amazon's podcast, the second hour. And although she may be coming on second, she's number one in your heart. She is the winner of the Triple O Dynasty, Olympia qualified. Ladies and gentlemen, Selyka Givan.
Hello. Thank you for having me again, Glenn. I really appreciate this opportunity.
I really appreciate you. Trust me, it's an opportunity for me. For sure. I was so thankful, I met you in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But talk to me. Nobody had any idea that you were doing the Triple O Dynasty till you were on the Olympia TV. And I was like, wow. Kind of like what Mayla Ash did. So nobody knew you were in prep because you weren't really posting.
Yeah.
I know you're not a social media person. And so nobody knew but you and your coach, really. Am I right?
Correct. And Glenn, that's the thing. Like, I've been like that since I started. You know, the era I grew up in, we really didn't have social media. So it's like you went to the gym, you did your thing. And then, if you lost weight, you lost weight, you look great. Whoever sees you, they saw the change. So I've always kind of kept that mentality, like go in the dungeon, get the work done, and then let the body of work show for itself. I kind of don't like putting things out there because then it kind of like people have those expectations at that point. And then if my body does not progress the way that I, need it to be show ready, then I feel like I've let people down, especially I'm looking at it from a professional standpoint of view. I want to be professional on all levels. So I don't want to say, hey, I'm going to do the show and then my body's not looking right. And then I pull out or I go on stage and not looking the way that I want to. So I kind of like just keeping my head down to the grinder and, and see what it does. And then when it's time to sign the contract before the deadline, then that's when I do it. Once I get me and my coach agree, like, hey, I think we're ready.
Right. Yeah. What were your expectations going into the show once you decided to do it?
My expectations were, and my honest ones were, I need to beat how I looked at Rising Phoenix. That's it. And then I just let the judges do what they do. That's my goal. Every show I need to beat how I looked that last show. And so that's top priority for me. Top priority.
The posing was on point. Your posing is very inspirational, kind of like Ashley's.
Yes.
Well, and I'm like, everything is based on a faith-based. Yes. You say you got this from your son helped write the choreography on it, right?
Well, yeah, like both of us are dance, dances. I've never done anything professionally, anything like that, but naturally, like my brothers were dancers, great dancers, so it's just kind of like something in our family, like all of us can, do a little jig,
Yeah.
But my son, he professionally does it, he's a choreographer. And
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so here in Atlanta, so he's pursuing his dream.
What's his name?
His name is Isaiah Givan.
Okay.
So he's pursuing, going after his dance career and things like that. So I pulled him in last year for Rising and Atlanta Pro. And I said, hey, this is time. I've always wanted us to dance together. But this was an opportunity for him to create something for me. So we worked together because he's great at dancing, but he needs to know the posing piece. There's everything can't just be fluid. We got to stick and hold certain, moves so people can actually see the poses. So he's learning as I'm learning from him. And it's just, it's been great. So I'm very thankful to God for having that opportunity in our relationship to develop, a different level of our relationship.
Right. Is his everything faith-based or what other choreography does he do?
No, he does everything.
Okay.
Yeah, no. He does everything. So, all types of dance and all types of music. So, but mama is faith-based.
Well, that's great. That really is. And then the hit the movements, so that the time with the flex and everything. I mean, one of the poses you did during your posing routine sort of reminded me of the photo from the movie Magazine Dreams. And I'm like, okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I've been wanting to go and see it.
If you see the cover of Magazine Dreams, one of the poses you did all mimic that exactly.
Really, I'm being so honest. I have not seen the trailer because I was like, I don't want to see anything. I was waiting till when I got back from Arizona to say,
Right.
hey, let me go and check it out yet. So I still haven't had time to do it. So, oh, that's cool.
And totally understand, because hey, that's you never know. You're going to get your shot at the Olympia, and
Yeah,
you knocked out some heavy hitters. Great opening show.
it
Uh,
was. Everyone looked beautiful.
they
Everyone looked
did.
beautiful.
They really did. And everybody was shocked when you jumped in, and then May Lash jumped in. Chelsea's back after a year. Teresa
Yes.
Mancic defending the title. It was so many
Tiana.
human,
Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
many human interest stories going into the show. I was like, man, this is something that's easy to write up on.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see it. What did Andrea Shaw say to you?
She first immediately she saw my face. She was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Girl, I'm tired of that fish and asparagus." She said, "Well, that fish and asparagus got you looking good." So,
Mm-hmm.
but they could tell that, you know, I was trying to get there, because I did diet a little bit longer,
Yeah,
for sure, and harder. So, each show there's something different I'm tweaking and changing because, like I said, I want to continue to get better. I already have my list of things like I know that I need to get better. Conditioning is always going to be on my list, till I find that perfect balance, because that's what I want. I want a balanced body.
right.
I don't want one extreme or the other. So, and I don't think a lot of people realize I have not been a pro long.
That's true.
I'm
You don't
46, but I have
understand.
not been a pro long. I'm going into my third year as a pro. So I'm still learning a lot, I'm still learning a lot about my body, about the industry, about shows and all that stuff like that. So I'm a freshman still, to the game. So
Yeah. Pretty incredible though. Great start. That's all I can say.
yes, yes.
What did Sandy Williamson was the lead judge, head judge? What did she say to you? Did you get any
I didn't
feedback?
get a chance to talk to Sandy, so I got I need to get my email out to her, just to get the critiques. And like I said, my brain immediately, because I immediately, I celebrate, I thank God. Now I
Mm-hmm.
go back in my head, okay, what do I need to work on? Like, no matter what anybody says to me, as far as negative stuff, I'm my worst critic. And
Yeah.
so I immediately go back to my pictures like, I could have done that better. This needs to be better. I need to do this. So I know conditioning is still, one of those things. It's all about that balance of, diet and dehydrating properly and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm in it and I love the artistry of bodybuilding. So I want to continue to perfect my physique for it.
There was a lot of talk about your abs. I know that. I was like, whoa. And then and you're right. You look totally different from Rising Phoenix. And so, and I remember when we talked about the Rising Phoenix, you said you just want to just go there because
Yeah.
you're invited just to see how you do to be on that stage.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still on a high from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just like a bodybuilder's, well, female bodybuilder's dream. Well, at least for me, to be invited to do that was just major, very major for me.
Olympia qualified and Olympia qualified early. Uh,
My
that's
heart
just
just started
incredible. Yeah.
palpitating.
I mean, you want to get it early, if not already be qualified going in. I just think
Yeah,
from the standpoint it gives you more time to strategize. It also gives you more time to think about it.
yeah.
But I think you'd rather be in this position than trying to qualify at this point. Am I right?
Yes, 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 for sure. I remember my heart was even set on last year. Like I was like, man, I want to qualify so bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so even after the Rising Phoenix, I thought everything was over. And then I was like, they had the Anaheim show.
Right.
And I was like, okay, maybe I can get ahead and qualify for next year in Anaheim. And then
Right.
I really sat down and thought about saying, no, my body needs to rest. It really needed that rest. And then little did I know with Anaheim, I think Hunter Henderson won.
Yep. She did.
She actually qualified that year. I was like, oh
Yep.
my gosh.
She the last show, I believe.
Yes, yes. But that and she did a great job. So and that was just meant for Hunter to win and go. So I'm all about everything is what's for you is for you. and that wasn't meant for me to go to that show and do, you know. So, but yeah, so I was really just, my mind was blown when it
Mhm.
happened last week, and yes, I was like, oh my gosh, my ultimate goal like is here. I actually did
Yeah,
it.
you did. You did.
Actually did it. So
And no
yeah,
one
my
can ever
heart
take it away
still
from you. You are an Olympian.
yes, yes, and Master Olympian.
There you
So
go. Now, yeah, I was going to ask you. So you're looking at doing Japan.
yes,
Uh, that's mid-August, I think.
it's like August 9th.
Yeah, right
August 9th.
between the now Tampa Pro, which is back in the
Yeah.
Linda Murray Atlanta Pro.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. 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 So
So, did you
August
intentionally want to do two shows, or you always wanted to do the Masters? What went into that thought process?
Masters was a wonderful, wonderful surprise. I
Mhm.
don't know if most people know. I always, since I started as a pro, I've always done Masters and Open.
Mhm.
Always.
Mhm.
I wanted to be an inspiration to women, 40 and up, that you can do it and wear it well, do it well proudly, and still compete against younger women. So I've always
Right.
done Masters and Open. That's why I did it at the Triple O Dynasty, because I always do it. I had learned about the Masters Olympia, I think last year, because I did very well. I won two Masters titles at Atlanta Pro, and I won one
Yeah.
in Tampa my very first year competing. So because of those wins, I had qualified automatically. So for Masters, we have at least 2 years to qualify for Masters Olympia. So
Mhm.
I'm calling out to all my Masters ladies. Get on out there as soon as
Let's
you
go.
can to represent, so we can have a full roster, for Masters Olympia next time. We have enough time to qualify. So, but yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited for both. For both. So yeah.
Did your family travel with you to the Triple O
No, this
by
was
yourself, huh?
my very first show ever by my
Wow.
my coach Justin. He lives out in Arizona, so he was there. So of
Mhm.
course we would meet, to train, to pose. He was backstage with me and everything, but for the most part I was by myself. At first, of course, I was scared because I've always
Mhm.
had my bodybuilding sisters with me for
Right.
every
Right.
show. But I realized God had me isolated for a reason, to just get centered, get focused, and everything just fell into place. And that's what I said. I can't be anything but grateful for that whole experience.
Right. Age is nothing but a number. And you knocked out some young cats, and I mean, you never know. Every show, everybody tell, well, she's masters or she's this age.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how you show up. You don't
it
don't
does. It
don't
does.
sleep on that girl you calling old. And so it's always amazing to see that. You look great.
Thank you.
Uh, Love
Thank you.
seeing it on the stream.
Yeah, yeah,
Now looking at it, you do the master. You're Olympically qualified.
yeah,
First time Olympia.
yeah.
Olympia. How you plan on living up, or is it too early? Or
It's
obviously,
too early.
man,
It's
still
too
hasn't
early.
sunk in, has it?
It's too
We'll talk
early.
later. Yeah, as we get a little closer.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I take it minute by minute sometimes, day by
as you
day.
should. Yeah.
Like I'll just be randomly driving, and then a big smile will just come on my face, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it.
Off to
It just
Vegas.
randomly hit me.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Congratulations. And
thank
so
you.
now, doing the Masters in Japan,
Yes.
long trip. Are you worried about jet lag, water retention? Is that
Of
something that ever
course.
bothered you? How was it flying from Atlanta to Arizona? Was water?
The flight wasn't bad at all.
Mhm.
For that, it's like maybe 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but I've never been, like I jokingly said to somebody, I was like, I've never been in a car for 10 hours. I know the Japan flight is very long,
Yeah.
so just already thinking about things, preventative things I need to do. Um, of course, you're worrying about water retention and stuff. So just making sure you have the compression things,
Mhm.
on, and So just trying to get my plan together even for that. That's why, my hopes are to get out there as early as possible
Yes.
to allow my body to, get adjusted, readjusted, and acclimated to the time zone and everything out there.
And then, of course, coming back, we heard a lot of talk about prize money and the Rising Phoenix. Will you apply to go to the Rising Phoenix, or will you, hey, after Japan, pull it back and just focus on the Olympia?
That's something, honestly, I was thinking about today, and that's something I need to discuss. First, mull over in my own head and see how I feel about it,
Right.
and then discuss with my coach, because I just want to do what's right for my body.
Right.
Um, I would love to do Rising Phoenix again. I would love to, but I want to do, what's going to be the healthiest thing for me, because I want to have a good showing at my first Olympia. I want to really, do well there.
You want to be peaking at the right time for sure.
Correct.
Even though it's your first, you ain't going just to show up. You're going to show out. You're
Just,
saying.
I want to shine my little light. That's all I want to do.
I tell you what,
shine my little light.
That's the beauty of competition. It always makes everybody else better. And
yeah, it does. It does.
That's the good part about it. Sometimes competition can bring out the worst in people, but a lot of times it does bring out the greatness in people as well.
Yeah.
Y'all being sisters in iron, y'all get along well, at least from the outside looking in. I'm not back. I'm not per se in the know, but I know what everybody has said, from Maylash and every competitor that I've talked to Ashley, to you. Y'all a tight knit group, because you really are. It's really just y'all against the world when you look at it. But it's not just women's bodybuilding that's under siege. It's all the women's divisions. And so with everything that happened with the Tampa and everything, and I'm glad it's back. Yes. And so now, just going forward, just got to figure some things out, how to make sure it stays here, if not get even more shows, while at the same time making sure that the sanction fee is paid. And the prize money.
Yeah.
So,
we gotta
$1,000 in Triple O.
Yeah.
You already spent it about 2 or 3 times.
Listen, I had to put back what I had to take out to get there. So
and whatever left over, you gotta get ready for Japan. So
right. Exactly. But even with that said, it still was a very good showing to have those sponsors come through and have that high of an amount, because that's not a normal amount for women's bodybuilding. So most definitely want to give a big up to Bad Rap for really supporting women's bodybuilding, and helping with that, and all the other sponsors, Madhouse Gym and Mutant, all of them. I know it's more that I can't, think off the top of my head, but I'm grateful for all the sponsors that step right on in to make that happen for us.
Definitely great show. Maybe we can get more next year. Figure hit 10,000. Women's bodybuilding hit 7. So, and I've always said on record on previous podcasts that I think $10,000 is a good starting point. But we need to get it as high as we can. So with Rising Phoenix redistributing the money, and I talked to Ashley earlier, going to see who's going to do it, because $50,000 is a lot. Now, say if you cut it to half, doesn't mean that people are not going to compete, and it's still great prestige for the show.
It is.
But I think you got a lot of competitors thinking. Outside of that top 3, because still $25,000, if that in fact is what it is, nothing to sneeze at.
Correct.
Prestige show, and then you still got an Olympia qualification on the line. So that's the ultimate. So.
And that's why I think at the end of the day, I think a lot of us, yes, we need the money. We want the money. But our desire to make it to I think it's a lot deeper than the money. So I think people are still going to show up because they want that qualification. They want their chance to make it to, that prestigious stage. But that hit a little hard for our division, but like I said before, I really hope we can just come together somehow and, make it better somehow,
I do too. And like I said, It's like having a summit after the season. If there's investors out there,
Yeah.
I plan on trying to be one. Don't know how I'm gonna do it, but it is what it is. As I told Ashley, hey, every month women's bodybuilding is part of my budget. So, tax weekend coming up, I was trying to get everything together. And I'm like, did I forget this? Did I forget that? And then whatever I get back, I'm gonna roll it right back into.
Yeah, we appreciate that so much, Glenn. We appreciate that.
Not at all. I'm glad to do it. And like I say, I always tell you, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going down with the ship. So, but all this nobody wants to see it. Nah.
Yeah.
Tap into the fan base of women's bodybuilding more, and I just went all 7 divisions because all of you are Amazons, and because all of y'all pretty much are under the siege, even the new one, because nobody wants to see that. It's funny how no one wants to see women's bodybuilding. Nobody really wants to see the fit model division. So they're trying to gain acceptance at the same time. But
wow,
if you hit one of y'all, you're trying to hit all of them. Particularly when you look at women's bodybuilding, figure, women's physique, and then fitness. Well, it's tough to find a fitness show. You got to go to Texas in June with the Garcia program, or you got to go to Atlanta, the Atlanta Pro, which I'm sure that Linda Murray will have again next year to see fitness, and of course the Arnold's, which I was there. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Arnold's to see the fitness.
The fitness, oh yeah, they're amazing. They are.
That routine is like, hey, we're an athlete, and then you change clothes and then come back. So it's a great show.
They got to do what we do, and diet down, and then go out there and
hope you don't get hurt.
Right. My hat goes off to them for sure.
What are your goals? Obviously we know the short term and the long term: win the Masters, win the Olympia. But when you look at yourself personally and professionally, what goes through your thoughts? What are in that midnight prayer, that 2:00 in the morning prayer that Selyka?
I've been having a lot of people, even in my personal life, just even asking me that. That's come up lately for some reason. And I've had just random people come up to me and say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? I'm already operating in a field that I'm very passionate about right now. I was blessed to be able to transition from my part-time position to a full-time position at the Emory Healthcare job at the Emory Decatur Wellness Center, where I'm a lead wellness coach. I work with cardiac and pulmonary patients, and soon, hopefully, with cancer patients, just getting them ready for surgery and after surgery recovery and things like that. But as I'm getting older, I'm pulling a little bit away from personal training. I really want to get more into like motivational speaking. I still want to train a couple people on the side and still do what I do at the wellness center, but I really want to be able to be used and be an inspiration and motivation to people by way of words and encouragement. So that's why I feel myself, getting pulled towards in that lane. So like I don't know how, don't know when, but that's what I want to do, because I just want to just be a light and inspire people. And I think that's another thing that will help even bring people outside of the bodybuilding world in, by us female competitors just being inspirational and motivational to draw them in. Because the people that we already have in, they're sold. They love the muscle, all of that. But for us to pull in and attract other people that's outside of it, they don't see or think it's gross or whatever. But if they see the inspirational piece, like know our stories, what we all had to go through to get to this. It's not about exactly how we look, but that drive, the determination, the obstacles that we had to, go over just to achieve this high goal that a lot of people don't even get close to, so people just being inspired just by those things. Not necessarily our physique, but just what it took for us to get to the point that we're at. So, that's why I'm really big on inspiration and motivation,
And believe it or not, so many people talk about the number of pros, but not everybody becomes a pro.
Yeah.
Not everybody becomes a pro and wins a show.
Correct.
Not everybody becomes a pro and qualifies for the Olympia. So you're getting in rare air as you proceed up this pyramid.
Yeah.
In that top 10 percentile and top 1%. I mean, it is what it is. You know, people can say whatever they want to, but until you're in that fight, in that stage, trying to get that pro card, trying to win a show, trying to qualify, they don't know. They think they know, but they don't know. And
so true. So true.
Congratulations, you are an Olympian. No one can ever take that from you.
Yes.
And you got to go to the big stage. And it's 179 days, so we'll let it be what it be. But if I'm thinking about it, I know you're thinking about it.
Yes.
Okay, this person's qualified, that person's qualified. And the Masters Olympia is going to be a huge show.
I know. I'm just excited. I'm excited. Literally, I'm excited to just be able to be there. You know, it's almost like the same feeling I had, getting invited to Rising Phoenix. I'm just happy to be there.
And not everybody gets to compete overseas. I mean, like I said, it's in Japan, and so the venue is going to be great. Huge fans overseas. Yeah. And so enjoy the journey. That's as much as you wrapped up in, the pageantry and us as fans wrapped up in, hey, you're going to the Olympia. Hey, remember the journey. Enjoy the journey, because that's at the end of the day, everybody's just going to see you on the stage competing. Right. But you need to make everybody see your whole story of where you started and how you came through this journey that is women's bodybuilding. And to be a bodybuilding Olympian at the age of 46, qualifying for your first Olympia, is huge. But we are going to tell you a story in Amazon's fitness magazine. People just have to wait and see how that pans out. I'm going to talk about it here, but so when we go off there, we'll chat a little bit and then we'll go from there. But I'm excited. I was excited to meet you in Atlanta. Excited to see where you are now, nearly 1 year later. And hey, keep doing you. Keep doing you.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do. I just want to stay grounded and not forget what my purpose is and what I'm trying to achieve, and not get lost in the sauce. And just as an encouragement to even up and coming, bodybuilders, just make sure you're together, mentally, spiritually, if you have a spirit base, because you can get pulled from both directions. You have people telling you you're a goddess on one end, and then you have people calling you a gorilla on the other. And I've had it. And so if you don't have a solid base in knowing who you are, what your purpose is and why you're doing it, you're going to get tossed to and fro. So I just want to encourage you now, start investing in your mental health and having, if you need counseling, a therapist, or having those solid people that can remind you of who you are through this journey. Do it now. Do it now.
I gotta ask you.
Yes.
You win the Triple O Dynasty. You walk up in church, going down the aisle. How are you looking? What you got on? You dressed up?
Listen.
Looking like
Glenn. If you don't know me by now, I am so low key. So low key. I did not go in boasting. I didn't. Hey. I had a couple members like, hey, you was missing last week. What happened? I was like, oh, I had this bodybuilding show and I won. It was awesome. It's like,
have the church members seen you on stage?
No.
Oh,
no,
wow. Okay.
No.
After like, hey, sister, I need to see you after service.
Right. Listen, it's already enough. I love my job and I love the members. So now the members at my gym facility, they watch me. So I'm like, so everyone now has basically seen me in my panties and bra. So
everybody in church, man, I tell you what, I'm going to tell you what you need to do.
What?
You got to get this money up for Japan. I think you would walk in the church, go up in the front, do your testimony, and go straight Marvin South. Close the doors.
Close the doors.
Pass that basket around. We go to Japan. But I just joke with everything. But it's hilarious because sometimes church folks can be the worst folks.
Listen, people are people no matter what. People are people. So
So it's going to be interesting. But yeah,
It will.
all the best. Make sure you send me the link and all the information. We'll be talking
Okay.
right after the podcast. We're going to talk continually on.
Yes.
Get you squared away so that you can go to Japan. Everybody we can anyway, because if the bodybuilding fans out there, and each one has a fan base by category, hey, if you want to see them on stage, you need to help them. Like I said, everything in my budget every month, I count for women's bodybuilding. So and it is what it is. I choose to do it, love to do it, and y'all got to subscribe to the magazine, because when you do more, I can do more and keep these ladies where they need to be on stage and competing, and lessen that load as much as we can.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm gonna give you any last thoughts, because I don't want to keep you long, because you are in prep. I want to keep this right at 30 minutes. And
well, listen, when am I not in prep? I feel like I'm in prep all.
Yeah. When did you start prep though? For
Literally 2 weeks after Rising.
Wow. Through the holidays. Wow. That's tough. But you had
I knew, like I said, I immediately go here after a show, and I was like, if I want to qualify, I have to start. So I'm 46. Things don't just go as fast, and so you got to make those sacrifices depending on how bad you want it. And so I knew, I said, for me to top what I did, I got to start.
Yeah.
So sooner than later.
Takes a little longer.
Yeah.
To get there. But hey, the sacrifice, and here you are. One time Olympian, they'll never be able to take that from you.
Yes.
Will you have I guess you have you have to have a mini recess from training, even though you're getting ready for Japan.
Yeah.
Cheat meal. What was that like? Or give me the strategy from your coach. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, my first meal after Tribeau, after I got off the stage, I went to Red Robin. I've never been to Red Robin.
Oh, yes, popular here.
Yeah, I never been. I heard Chelsea talking about it backstage, and she said endless fries, and I was like, oh, okay, sign me up. So, so I went by myself, had my 3 baskets of fries, a double cheeseburger.
Nice.
Little Sprite, and I had a lemon cake to go. So I took a nap, woke up, and I ate my lemon cake, and I was in heaven. So, but as far as strategy, I chat with my coach tomorrow. But everything was light and easy, just get it back in, nothing strenuous, just allowing the body to recomp, and then we're going to get the plan together after check-ins and things, after I do my check-ins tomorrow.
Well, you're one of those competitors is easy to root for.
Thank you.
I love your story and everything that's going on, and then get down to brass tacks when it's a battle and they on that stage. I'm like, ooh. But I don't have to pick a favorite, because I'm a fan and I'm a photographer. It's okay to be both, but I don't have to pick. I don't have to compare physiques, because I want everybody to be in Amazon's magazine. And the last thing I want to hear was, Glenn, you said I wasn't in. I guess I looked a little off.
Right.
I need everybody in the magazine. But I need all y'all support as well, because Amazon will go as far as you guys want to take it. Nobody wants to hear from me. They want to hear from you. And that's the reason for the podcast. And they want to see you in the magazine and see your story, not just your physique. So y'all, it's not a bunch of meatheads like back in the day. That joker, he ain't no student athlete. He an athlete, but he ain't no student athlete. Thank you, Selyka Givan.
Yes.
I said it wrong. You didn't correct it. Not Givan, Givan.
Givan, yes. Okay. Yes.
Appreciate you.
I mean, I've had my first name and last name said so many different ways. But you nailed it. You got it. Well,
it's Givan, and I'm sure Bob Ciccarello won't get it wrong. He's good at that. So the name is going to be announced, not a number. Your name is going to be announced on the Olympia stage. So
yeah, that's
something else to talk about.
Yeah.
Stand by. We'll talk a little bit further, but thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Hang on. Selyka Givan, winner of the Triple O Dynasty, on her way to the Olympia and the Masters in Japan. I want to first give a shout out to all the subscribers to the YouTube channel, Amazon's Fitness Magazine, but more importantly, to the subscribers to Amazon'sFitMag.com, because when you do more, I can do more for these ladies and keep the magazine going. As we start our third year coming up in May, this will be the anniversary issue, and it will come out on my birthday, May 15th. So I'm busy working with that, trying to get everything together. But I would just tell you, support is what we need, regardless of how you feel about these ladies, to keep it going and keep the shows going and the prize money. So celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to Amazon'sFitMag.com. The podcast is brought to you by GPS Photography and Video. Why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. GPS Photography or GPSPhotoandVideo.com. And Amazon's Fitness Magazine is a publication of GPS Photography and Video. We'll see you next time.